Hello, and welcome to Happiness on Tap podcast, where guests dive deep into the vulnerable experiences that contribute to their happiness. I'm Leanne Herron, certified life and health coach, owner of Finding Resilience with Leanne, and host of this podcast. Thank you for joining us, and today we're going to be speaking with Tessa on Align with Your Alchemy. Tessa is the owner of Aligned Alchemy, Holistic Studio, and Apothecary. She is a certified hypnotherapist and wellness consultant. And this episode is part of my entrepreneur series. My husband and I have a passion for supporting local entrepreneurs and small businesses in our city and our community. And when I opened my coaching practice, I knew I wanted to continue this passion and have been busy having fun supporting other small business entrepreneurs in a variety of ways, from sharing their story, mentoring, attending their events, and buying from them. My healing and career path has been influenced through a variety of health and mental health challenges and difficulties and traumatic life experiences. And Tessa's incredible services and products have greatly improved my quality of life, reduced my anxiety and panic and fear, while helping me with learning to let go and learning about forgiveness. I hope my story and the story of my guests like Tessa provides hope and reminds others that we can weather any storm if we have the right support. This series will include tips and tools from each presenter on their struggles and obstacles and lessons learned along their entrepreneur journey, and provide valuable information that will save you time and your sanity. I met Tessa at a vendor pop-up in front of her business, and it was actually a pop-up she was putting on. And I returned numerous times seeking help, information, and guidance when my overwhelm was at its worst. And we connected on so many levels, and I developed a deep trust and began attending other events hosted by Tessa, scheduled and received an initial clinical hypnotherapy session and a wellness and herbal consultation. And I have utilized many of her services and services of the other trained and educated business partners. So let's get started, Miss Tessa. Tessa is the owner of Aligned Alchemy. She is a certified hypnotherapist and wellness consultant. Having been in the alternative and wellness and health field for over 20 years, her passion has grown into sparking empowerment for others to continue on their path to wholeness. Working in alignment with the subconscious mind, physical and spiritual bodies, her goal is to guide others so that they can connect with their higher selves and live the life that they deserve and desire. Tessa is an Albuquerque native with extensive experience in massage therapy and spa treatments, as well as a foundational knowledge in alternative and herbal supplements and guidance and in-depth knowledge of many alternative practices. Welcome, Tessa. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you. What a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. So if you could please just give our listeners a description of your company and all of the services and products that you provide.
Sure. So again, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here and just be a part of all the wonderful things that you're doing. So Aligned Alchemy has been a labor of love that is finally back on the path in which we're supposed to be. But I am a clinical hypnotherapist, so I work with clients on many levels regarding hypnotherapy and supporting their path of shifting any blocks, any area of their life where they want to improve or create more positive habits. I've been a massage therapist for 21 years now as well. So body work is something I'm really passionate about. And that definitely ties into the work of hypnotherapy when it comes to shifting and releasing a lot of things in the life and in the body as well. So those tools I find really go very well together. And I like to say I'm a baby herbalist. I really kind of stepped into education and playing with herbs on a deeper level about a year and a half ago now. I've always kind of utilized herbs in my life, but I really wanted to be able to deep dive into the education of it, more hands-on practice, how to make my own herbal medicine, and really introduce some of those foundational points of herbalism to people that are interested. And so I started doing herb circles as well. That's something I offer in my space. And so, yeah, I mean, I do a lot of things. I pretty much, my whole point is to create space to provide what someone is needing in the moment. And that's really kind of my passion with, all the tools that I have. But everyone is different every single day. Even if it's a client that I see weekly, from week to week, let alone day to day, they're in a different space and they're needing something slightly different. Some days it's just sitting and talking, and being able to listen to where they're at and what they're experiencing. Sometimes it's not speaking and just getting on the table and being able to get out of the mind and relax the body and deep breathe, and have that break. And sometimes it's, they're ready for deeper work of doing hypnotherapy and really shifting the things that they're ready and open to shift in their life. So that's a little bit about what I do. I also have a space where I work with a chiropractor, Dr. Mickey Mondragon. He's amazing with root stem chiropractic. And I'm also really excited, starting September 1st, a good friend of mine, Becky Raymer, who is a trauma therapist. She is very skilled with the therapy modality of EMDR. As far as trauma work goes, she's going to be starting with me as well, September 1st. And it's great because all three of us kind of share clients and refer to one another already. But it's really stepping into what I believe aligned alchemy should be, and that is different practitioners readily available and accessible and in-house, which is really cool.
Absolutely. I know that when you and I
Yeah.
first met, I came when I was at my worst. I just had nowhere to turn, didn't know what I was doing. And you just provided such a welcoming, warm
Mm.
space and just listened and then gave me suggestions. And, over time, then I, kind of developed, like I said, that trust. So I started attending your events and
Mm.
learning, like how to use my pendulum to see if my body, what supplements my body needs. Like I
Mm.
never thought of using a pendulum in that way until I learned that from you.
Mm.
Um, and then just developing that trust where I was, okay, now I'm ready to try this. And for me, it was coming to hypnotherapy because I came with limited knowledge, but I had been meditating daily for such a long time that I knew that that was going to be the next step.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And the deep work that I wasn't able to do myself, the forgiveness and the letting go, were the two things that I came to you for that were just miraculous in my health and my improvement and my healing. So, just
Beautiful.
over time developing that, being able to come to you for more and more and being comfortable and just loving your space and your energy.
Thank
And
you.
how long have
I love
you
that.
how
I
long
love
have you
that.
been in business, Tessa?
So I, you know the story personally, but I like to joke that I went into stepping into the most perfect timing of opening a business of November of 2019. And so 2020 was a very rough year of not really being able to open officially. And so I would say I opened my doors and started working with clients more towards the end of 2020, beginning of 21. But I did have kind of a rebrand and started over for the second time last summer. So officially about a year ago is when I really embraced what Aligned Alchemy was supposed to be and rebranded, really refocused on the purpose and my vision for the company. Mhm.
And it has just been beautiful watching you really immerse yourself in your space, because
Thank
every
you.
time I go, I feel a little more Tessa, just this warmth and
Thank you.
welcoming, and it's just a beautiful space that you have created.
Thank you.
So what
Yeah, and
inspired
I love having this space. Go ahead.
what inspired you to pursue this profession?
Great question. I really stepped into my own healing path kind of without any option to do that other than just doing it for my own health and wellness at a pretty young age. Um, I was brought up definitely more on the holistic side. Both of my parents were really more into eating healthy and, taking care of our bodies and taking supplements and really doing more natural forms of healing and awareness. But it was me probably stepping into massage therapy when I was 23 and really learning more about the body. I'd always been fascinated with anatomy and physiology. And so going into massage therapy was really something I was super into. I wasn't into going to college. I tried it and it wasn't for me from the get go. Um, and I'm one of those people that I really have to enjoy what I'm learning to want to be there and be aware and absorb the information. And so I really loved massage therapy school, and that kind of started my path onto to learning more, wanting to learn more, different modalities, different practices, different rituals. And so over 20 years, I've worked for a lot of different practitioners, from DOMs to chiropractors. Um, I worked at a vitamin store for a long time where I worked with really knowledgeable people. And I just absorbed so much information from that as well. And so I've kind of just taken bits and pieces from the last 20 years. And
Absolutely.
yeah, it's led me into wanting to step into my own practice and utilize what I know and to continue. Once I learn about a different modality or a different philosophy or a different herb or whatever it is, I just really want to run with it and learn what I can on many levels. So, yeah, so that's kind of what led to where I'm at.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love your story.
Thank you.
What what is one thing you really want my listeners, your listeners, and listeners all over to know about you? Because for me, and I said this to somebody else earlier today,
Mm,
um, talking with you is like talking to sunshine, and I just my
mm,
heart goes out, and we connect on that level. And so I want more people who are like us, our people, to just experience you and all the wonderful things you have to offer.
thank you. You're very sweet. You're pretty sunshine yourself. um, yeah, so let's see. What do I want him to know about me? I, it's interesting. When you first asked me to come on, I was like, oh boy, I have to talk about myself. Okay, how's this gonna go? But, it's really great practice because as a practitioner, we were just talking about this, how everyone has a little bit a different flavor, a different passion to what they do. And for me, I kind of struggle when the term healer is kind of thrown my way. I've had several people call me that or comment on that, and I really struggle with that because for me, I'm just a vessel. I'm a tool, and I have the tools to introduce, and um, it may be healing on some level, but it's really up to the client. It's really up to the person that is open and willing to make those shifts, to step into who they really want to be and desire to be. And I'm just here to present the tools and to create space, you know. Um, And, and so, yeah, I mean, if anything, I would just encourage people to build that rapport with people that feel like sunshine, people that feel good, that encourage you, that want good for you in your life, and people that support you in the same way that you want support and need support. Because that's why we're here, right? We're here to love each other. I believe that's the whole point of this lifetime, is to be who we are in our purpose and our passion so that we can support others around us. Um, I'm really passionate about that, and those that are ready and open are going to see the change. I speak a lot on making those little shifts. It's just the little habits that make the big change. Because so many people are about going hard. I'm going to go to the gym every day, and I'm going to change my diet, and I'm going to do this, and most people don't stick with it
Mhm.
because it's something that's temporary,
Yeah.
and those little habits is really what brings you onto the path that most are seeking, of growth and releasing that trauma or whatever they're carrying around. And so it's really important to listen and to get to know yourself. So
And to have,
yeah. Mhm.
places like your space and me as a coach that provide that safe space where people can
Absolutely.
um, be vulnerable and do the deep work and be in a safe space to be okay when that deep work comes bubbling up. And
Mhm.
because it's hard, and that's why I switched to wanting to come to you for the deep work, because I
Mhm.
could do inner child healing at home, but then I was just by myself
Mhm.
working through the tears and the emotions and the feelings. And my trauma was heavy, so I wasn't even being able to identify with the
Mhm.
emotions and the feelings. It was just
Mhm.
overwhelmed all the time.
Yeah.
So to have somebody kind of with you to work through those things provided me
Absolutely.
the level I needed.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And thank you. You said it perfectly, creating that space. And I feel like, now that there's more holistic practitioners really stepping into that purpose, um, I encourage people to explore that realm of, I'm not sure what hypnosis is, how does that work? Or, asking the questions that people don't really know much about. And yeah, I mean, when stuff comes up, you're right. Processing, being able to have that rapport with someone enough to let you process and speak on it and cry if you need to and express the emotion that you're processing. That's really important, and that's also part of what I've been really encouraging people on lately is, you know practitioners are here to offer things. And it's really about people learning how to take back their autonomy, right? Their own empowerment of self, and to be able to make the choices that they're seeking, that they're desiring. Um, I think in our society, we've been trained to be reliant on so many other people, our doctors, um, the grocery store, you know, we go and just buy food when we need to, or toiletries, or, you know, and I see this awakening of people becoming more self-reliant. And I think that also comes with our healing. You know, when you are in that path, you should be in power of your own say. And you should be able to say, no, that's not right for me right now, or question, you know, um, the whole becoming reliant on things. Something that's come up lately is people sticking with the same therapist, you know, and not really getting much out of that. And just being reminded that, you know, it's okay to
Can
switch up
change.
therapists. Right. You know, and they've been with them for 10 years, and the fear of bringing up their past to someone new and having to relive all that, you know, is very understandable. But if you're not getting anything out of your current modality, you know, you should step back and say, what am I getting from this? How can I change this? You know, do I need to try something different? And that's why I love hypnotherapy. That was the deeper work that I was seeking to tie into body work. You know, it's that deep work of shifting what's happening on an emotional, mental, spiritual level as to why you're holding in the physical, you know? And so, yeah, empowering others, it's really important. And I was really happy to be a part of that, because you've bloomed into a beautiful support yourself, you know, and creating space for others. And it's wonderful to see.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, I know that a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
including myself, are having those issues even with my regular doctor, my primary care.
Mm-hmm.
And you know
Mm-hmm.
the story because I've shared it with you, but when I went to my primary care and said I need a referral to a therapist, all my primary care did was write me a prescription for an antidepressant, even after being told I'm
Right.
not going to take that. I don't want that. I just, I need someone I can talk to work through things. So I
Right.
ended up leaving my primary care, finding a new one,
Mm-hmm.
going through the whole thing, telling her the same story to have her do the exact same thing. Like all my
Yeah.
labs started to come in, and I get a phone call from her nurse, like everything's golden. I'm like, wait, what? Like,
Mm-hmm.
can I talk some more here and talk about my blood work or
Right.
my pap or my hormones or oh no,
Right.
everything's good. Come back in a year. Okay, that was it. Like you did
Right.
nothing for me any different than she did, except you didn't write
Right.
me a prescription for something else I'm not going to take.
Right.
So,
I hear that
I
all the time, Leanne. Yeah.
it's and that again, that's another part of why I want to do these podcasts because there are so many seekers. Like we're all tired of it. We want a more individual care. You even worked with me on
Mm-hmm.
supplements. And so, I opened my medicine cabinet and it's all supplements. And I know why I'm taking them and I know what it's helping me with. And there's not 10,000 side effects that are going to come up. But at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
learning that medical doctors and women as a whole never,
Mm-hmm.
they're doing all this medical research, but women were excluded because,
Mm-hmm.
well, we could be pregnant or we could just be emotional. So we can't be counted on for good
Mm-hmm.
research materials. So it's only been, so long since the early 80s, that they actually started researching on women. So now this new medicine is coming in. They're like, oh no, what you thought all these years was wrong. Or, gee, there's so much new information about menopause and our body's
Mm-hmm.
changes and why we can't lose weight and all these things
Mm-hmm.
that nobody ever talked about before. It was just like, oh, okay, it's a rise in this and a drop in that and take hormone therapy and you're done. But what if I
Right.
want to learn
Absolutely.
more?
Right. that's the missing link, right, with our broken medical system. They don't talk to you about your lifestyle. They don't talk to you about, one of the biggest things for hormonal imbalance for women is stress management, or autoimmune stuff, thyroid disorder. It's all stress related, and they don't talk to you about, well, what are you doing to unplug? What are you doing to balance? What's your diet like? There's so much to it, and that's another passion of mine. I had autoimmune stuff when in my 20s, and their answer was to take my thyroid out at 26. And that really shoved me into researching what is autoimmune stuff, how can I counter this now that I don't have a thyroid. You hear a lot about balancing your thyroid, but now I don't have one, so what do I do? And my endocrinologist never talked to me about supplementation and stress management, and it wasn't until I really stepped into Ayurvedic practices and learned more about stress management, to really help the state that I was in at a very young age. And so, yeah, autoimmune stuff is a huge passion of mine. Um, Please, I stress, find a good practitioner that will go over your blood work with you. Get your blood work done frequently, especially if you're in a beautiful stage of perimenopause like myself, or going through a hormonal change of any sort, even post menopause. People don't talk about that support, and not just supplementation and diet, but emotional. We are emotional beings as women, and our cycle is always changing and fluctuating, and we change with the moon cycles, and if we don't tap in and listen and learn how to support where we are and what we need, um, it's a struggle. And so I encourage everyone, if you're not getting what you need from your medical practitioner, there are practitioners out there that look at the body as a whole, and will take time with you. I have some great practitioners here in Albuquerque, if anyone is ever interested in reaching out, that I've worked with before. And there is support. It's hard to find. It really is hard to find. You just look at what does your insurance cover, and you go to the primary that is accepting new patients, and you hope for the best. But your story on your follow-up with blood work, I just went through myself. I know my hormones are off, and I got blood work, and they got something in the mail. You're fine. Everything's in normal range.
And you're like, wait, what?
I had to be
That's what I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yes, I knew something was off, but I had to be my own advocate. I had to call the office. I had to say, I want to sit down with this nurse practitioner that I have yet to meet face to face and go over my results. Sure enough, that low T, and it just goes back to, again, being your own advocate, and it's really heartbreaking when I see a lot of older people or people that don't have someone to help decipher that world, and they're just stuck in it. But there's a lot of support out there. You just have to seek it out. But yeah, if anyone has questions on anything, I have a lot of really great practitioners to refer to.
You do. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Can you give our listeners, just even one big tip, um, with regards to like your entrepreneur journey,
Mhm.
um, and how to, just something that can help them uh, avoid struggles or obstacles, or
Mhm.
maybe, you did have a hard lesson that you've learned and you don't have to go into that, but just as an entrepreneur, if you could just give us a tip for our listeners.
Absolutely. Yeah. So for my all entrepreneurs out there, whether you're looking to start a huge business or you're just starting out on your practice, get a clear vision for yourself and really tap into what it is that you want to achieve on that path, because your path is going to change. It's going to go from left to right and over and under. And as long as you have a vision of what it is and you tap into that purpose that fulfills you, I think that is number one.
Absolutely.
finding what makes you happy. And as long as you know that and you can tap into that, nothing can stop you. You know, you're going to have to redirect. Absolutely. That's going to happen. But as long as you know what it is that you are supposed to be doing and you follow your heart, that's number one. And also find yourself a good network. Find yourself some people that support you, and challenge you. That's really important as well.
Wow, those are both perfect tips. Thank you so much, Tessa.
Sure.
I'm going to touch base real quick on a few things that people can do to support entrepreneurs. Just because we stick together, we support each other, but there's little things that are free that other people can do to support a friend, a family member, or just a small local business here in town.
Mm-hmm.
You can always buy from them. One of the most impactful ways to support an entrepreneur is to buy from their business, whether it's a product or service. Any purchase can help boost their revenue and help them grow their business. Share their story. Entrepreneurs rely on word of mouth and to grow their business. Share their story on social media, recommend their business to a friend or family member. If you see somebody struggling at the table across from you, during a family meeting or a family get together, just a general place where we all gather, and you see somebody that just isn't right, just take that few minutes, because you never know who we've come in contact with that we can refer them out to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Invest in their business. If you have the means, consider investing in an entrepreneur's business. This can help provide necessary capital and help them scale their business. Provide mentorship. This has been something I've really enjoyed. By sharing your knowledge and experience, you can help entrepreneurs navigate the challenges of starting and running a business. So consider being a mentor or joining a mentorship program, and attend their events. Supporting an entrepreneur goes beyond buying their products and services. Attend their events, such as a product launch, a networking event, but just show your support. So these are just a few ways that you can support entrepreneurs. And by supporting them, you're not only helping them to succeed, but you're also contributing to the growth of our economy, of our city, of our state. Real quick, before we tie this up, Tessa, where can people find you?
Sure. So my website is thealignedalchemy.com. So THE alignedalchemy.com. And then my direct email is tessa@thealignedalchemy.com.
Thank you so much, Tessa. I really appreciate you taking your time, sharing your wonderful business and your practice with my listeners. And for everyone, if you enjoyed this interview, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Finding Resilience with Leanne, and Happiness on Tap podcast, which we will host interviews of other entrepreneurs, people in the health and wellness industry, other coaches, because there are a lot of us and we are all out there helping people. And if you have any other information, you can just check out my website at findingresiliencewithleanne.com, and make sure you subscribe to my email tribe to receive exclusive promotions, new products, service announcements, blogs. Oh my goodness, I do not know what happened. Where'd you go? Oh no,
Oh,
I lost you. Hold on.
so here.
Okay, I clicked on something and everything went blank. Could you see me or could you just hear me? Okay. Anyway, so that
Yep,
was the
everything's fine
end.
on my end.
Of course, there's always some kind of technical glitch, but we are human, and we thank you all for joining us today. And I especially thank you, Tessa.
Thank you. Did a great job. I appreciate being here. Thank you so much.
Uh,